Well, I guess it worked out. There's some... I don't know what just happened with the load screen, guys. Not the load screen, the map intro, but the load screen itself took a little bit of extra time, too, so we'll just attribute this to, like, real-time lag. We are in Copa America Season 2 semifinals. This is pretty much the end of the line. One of these guys will fight Desert on Sunday in a grand finals to see who's the best of Season 2, and one will fall to the third, fourth place match against Cats. So the big question is, who's it going to be? Spawny here in the bottom rightmost portion of Catalina. From No Dice Gaming, give it up for the Blue Zerg player, Cham.
In the middle left, as the Red Terran, it is Roots Major.
Alright, so Major, I think, hands down has to be the favorite coming into this series. He won Season 1, he's a talented player, he knocked out Pulse in the IEM Toronto qualifiers. I mean, just this guy's got a portfolio of being a really, really good player. But Cham is also pretty good. The difference is nobody knows who he is because he comes from a different community that's not primarily like an English-speaking one. No Dice Gaming's hardly the most prominent team on the frontier of esports. I mean, I've seen this guy personally a lot, so I know he's got it in him. I know that if he did his homework coming to this match, if he prepared, and if he doesn't freak out against Major and make stupid, rash decisions, I guarantee you guys he would eventually take a series off of him. But he's only got this one best of 5 to make it work, and he has to make it work, or he's going to fall to play ZVZ for third and fourth place match.
Yeah. And there's the whole other thing, where is Major underestimating him? Question mark? I don't think... Major's probably feeling very confident in this entire tournament. Even against Hendula, where went to game number 5, he's still probably feeling pretty confident. You know, it's his tournament. He won season... Well, technically there was a Season 1, but no one really knew about it, so... He won the last season, and he won the season before that, so let's just say that.
Of right? 2014.
And he also won 2013.
Yes, but that doesn't count.
Which is what I'm trying to say, but not 2012, but no one knows about. Anyway.
You know why it doesn't count? Because we were casting it. What's up, everybody?
We weren't casting the last one, 2013.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why this is the only season that matters. Like, this 2014 of Copa America is the best Copa America. Because you guys got Rifkin and Zombie Grub.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. But anyways, it is this tournament, and I feel like it gives him like a plus 10 versus anyone. But it also gives him, like, you know, plus 10 confidence, which could be bad. Overconfidence, one might say.
Well, at the moment, the Reaper does come out here for Major, but we don't see him investing too heavily behind this. There's another one on the way, but he's cutting off of creep. I kind of feel like Cham is... Oh my goodness.
No, Antares.
I'm sorry, but, like, at this point, buddy, just give up. I mean, I've been there. I know that feeling. I know that frustration. Just throw in the towel, man. No one's going to blame you for it. With the second Reaper coming up here, he's actually going to be able to start picking up a couple of these lings. It is really important worth noting Cham didn't lose any Zerglings leading into this. What ends up getting Queens killed a lot of the time isn't like the miscontrol of the Queens, but it's more just not having buffer of lings in front of them. There's no additional threat to chase the Reapers away, so you will occasionally see Terran players snipe off Queens, and they do it so easily because there's those Zerglings, but in this instance he kept all of them alive, which I think is really nice.
Yeah. This is a good map for Reapers too, so it's good that he took pretty much no damage from Major on this map. It's pretty good. Didn't try and send the 2, you know, sometimes when you get 6 you can send 2 over to those sides, try to kill the SCV that's forming the command center.
Whoa.
Didn't attempt it this time.
Look at that root logo on the 3rd CC.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
It's like, this is like, what's that painting called? The clocks that like bend over and
Salvador
stuff?
Dali's,
yeah.
Okay.
Salvador Rudy, I guess, in this situation. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I mean, Major's opening I really like. Terran in general, I mean, it's kind of your my expertise in the first place. We get to see a lot of interesting, I'd say, like, control of units. Your build order as a Terran player feels a lot less indicative of the way you'll end up playing the game. Like, it sets the path and it gives you the tools, but, I mean, Reaper Hellion can easily turn into Reaper Hellbat, Banshee Hellion as a follow-up. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go off of this. But the big thing for Major is, like, right now, all he's really capable of is sniping off tumors. Maybe a Queen if Cham gets a little bit, I guess, lazy with his defense.
Cham, he's actually kind of worried right now. The problem is that Major... Well, okay, so he does get the roaches, but I was gonna say if Major knew how greedy he was going, you know, how long he was waiting to get the roaches and he was getting a lair, he would probably have committed harder, faster on these queens. But now it's too late. The roach is about to pop.
These queens actually getting really low. I like these pulling them back.
Okay.
We'll lose
You
one.
got one.
But he keeps the creep tumors alive. It's just one queen death for the time being. He's still got the lings over here waiting for those reapers to come back up towards the main. Roach is perhaps getting a little overextended here off that creep, but Cham's gonna throw it down in the third. And this is the way we've seen Zerg and Terran evolve, where you need to get this earlier defense out, where you know your opponent's gonna be hitting you hard, and you can no longer go for that fast third needlessly.
Here, scan.
Why is it I can't hear scans with Copa America? It's like the only tournament. I don't know what it is. Oh, double expands.
Oh, okay. Well, he did wait a long time. Obviously, you got a layer before expanding, so it's actually a pretty big deal. And Major, the one weakness that he has, like him, 4GG, someone else I can't think of right now, but they all
lazy.
Yeah, it's like well, you could argue that they're trying to be so good that they judge the correct exact amount you have to defend. Because a really good, a bad player will over defend and lose in the macro game. A great player will defend just right and win in the macro game. So, you can argue that they're trying to do that, but yeah, like they don't put an extra bunker when it could potentially be like a Roach Baneling Almond. They don't know.
What is this metabolic boost? It looks like he is going to be sticking with the Baneling Muta composition. I'm not sure I like this though. We talked about a big game about Roach Hydra versus Major because it's worked and we've seen it work in the past. Season 1, Fog almost knocked him out. Season 2, Hendrix almost knocked him out. I mean, there's a lot of strengths and weaknesses with players, and the reason Roach Hydra works so well versus players like Major is because Major is one of those guys like Pulse. He plays the same way, like 10 times out of 10. It's not even like a percentage of a difference. Like he plays, and if you can play predictably into it, the nice thing about Roach Hydra is it gives you this like really nice brute force composition. So style, positioning, these kind of fall to the wayside as you just kind of A move forward. I shouldn't phrase it like A move, I guess, but just attack into your opponent full force.
I think actually what Cham's gonna be doing here is a Roach Baneling All-In, Hyun.
I don't like that though because it's too late. I feel.
Yeah, I feel like it's too late too. Well, it's like Hyun does it as a composition. It doesn't last very long once you have 2-2. Like that's pretty much when Terran starts just winning out against any composition really. But it can be very powerful and very alarming. You judge things like you would if they're going Roach Hydra or if they're going Ling Bling. When you combine them, suddenly, compositions that you think you would win against don't work. And I'm only saying that because he hasn't gotten Aspire yet, and he's still producing Roaches every once in a while, so I think that's what it is.
Major gets some decent hit and runs here with these Lings.
It's weird. Weird. I like it though in a way because it is a little weirder and it's only something you see from like really Hyun, to be honest. So a Major might not be expecting it. He might think, okay, those are precautionary roaches. He's gonna start phasing them out, and he's not gonna make a lot of Marauders, and that's could potentially screw him over.
Well, the amount of roaches he has can certainly deal with the Hellions, and maybe soak up a couple of those Widowmines, but the thing is, he doesn't have a whole lot of Banelings to work with for the bio, and roaches can trade alright with this low amount of Marines, but once it starts compiling up, once Major's streaming like 9 across the map at a time, not even a contest, he actually kills the Banelings as they start hashing. Before they hash, will take a couple of hits, though. Picks up in the medevac and heads over here towards the third. Does he actually know about the fourth? Major does not know about the fourth here out of Cham.
That's nice. It's a nice little boon. So far it looks like Cham's just not really mining a whole lot, which is obviously incorrect. The 1-1 luckily finished for Cham right then and there, but he needs to start 2-2. I know he's going to try and go into a mid-game composition with this. Or maybe he get +1 missile? No.
I don't know. I feel like Cham at this point is... I don't like this composition versus what Major's going for. And right now, he's just... I mean, the fourth base, the macro hatchery, these are moves I love. I just wish he'd kind of either get off this tech path or invest more into one or the other. Because, like, the upgrades, 1-1, great. How are you going to contend with Majors 2-2?
Oh, he's just... Okay, so he's actually... I mean, Hyun actually goes into 2-2, and he plays it out for a little while longer. But it looks like he's... Oh, no, okay, 2-2 just does finish. But he's also going to attack, so this is pretty big. Like, the composition is... It's really powerful. It just doesn't have, a lot of attacks. It has a couple of really big ones.
Well, he does get through this first wave pretty easily, but this is not really making Major sweat too much. Yeah.
2 bases, maybe? At the drops are going down?
Third's dead. Fourth is, well, actually not going to go down. It's only 2 Marines here, but, a lot of these SCVs, yeah, they go down, but this was more like, hey, you killed every Baneling, so I'm okay with losing some SCVs.
Yeah, and the production isn't really quite there either. You know, he had to defend. His queens were off doing something. His queens died. So where's the reinforcements? He's only up by 20 supply now.
He does
And
hold on to
two
this
just
base,
left
though.
finish.
I mean, this is good thing for Cham. Like, had he lost this hatch, I'd say he'd be in a much worse situation than he is right now. But with combination mining and the production he has, he'll be okay. But Major's also such a nuisance with this one Marauder. Will finally go down. Had about, like, 11 kills on it, I think, upon its death. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Overseer would love to see some contaminates come down to the engineering base, but perhaps a little bit too late now.
Well, hopefully he'll notice when 3-3 starts, because he definitely needs to stall that one out.
3-3 air. Sorry, I'm just going with tempo on this cast, but you know, taking fights off of creep not something you want to do. A lot of times, the Zerg player, he really dedicated to that third base. It's funny to consider just how heavily each of them hit their expansions, and neither killed the actual base.
Oh, he's got to split. Oh, well, actually, those Widow Mines were not that great.
Oh, but the banelings were not good either.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that's a manual detonation. I kind of looked like it was, but perhaps clicking on too many units. Has to back away. Once again, does not take out the command center. Major, on the other hand, is possibly going to get a hatchery this time. With only Lings coming back, this is a lot of Marines with 2-2 behind the mineral lines.
Yeah, I think Cham's actually missed his opportunity. As depressing as it is to say, Cham actually just, might lose this game now. But it is hard to call. Sometimes, you think so, but then they just get, that right amount of units, and they did that one big attack, and then, they get on top of the production. And then the Terran always dies, no matter what.
I've definitely seen scenarios before, and I won't disagree, but the thing for the Major is, like, he's, despite having to play defensively in several instances this game, he's never really lost his momentum. Like, okay, he's not 200 maxed out, but he's able to take all these good fights every single time.
Yeah.
Primarily
Cham
roaches?
is thinking about the future. He's getting in position, but so he could be going up to Hive for something. Vipers? I don't know. Upgrades, at least, I would think.
Banlings once again getting taken out here pretty quickly. Widowmine's burrowing at the late stage, just going to pop off so many of these, and the roaches have stopped to focus fire them down. Now the command center might actually go down if he focuses it. I mean, he can always lift it, but we've seen a lot of Champ players not lift their CCs, notoriously.
Yeah, I think Major should actually consolidate right here. Lift up the SCVs, lift up the command center, and take it back later. That push out in the on-champ side of the field might have been where Major went a little bit wrong.
Major does
whoa,
lose
whoa.
the CC. This is what I'm talking about. You're so busy microing, you don't have the time to go hit that L button real quick. Picks up, as you say, needs to consolidate, but the depots are down. Oh, this is not looking good for Major. This is exactly what you're describing. Yeah.
This is one push where even after the first two ones didn't do that much, they get that just right amount of units, and they mess up just the right amount.
Well, he's not going to push his advantage. He's coming back home to defend his third from this. I think this is the same Marine drop from earlier, by the way. Each of these Marines has like 10 kills on them.
Yeah, there's not 3-3. Well, actually, no, just 3 weapons, but that's still pretty nice. If he had saved that command center, he could have saved the command center and all the SCVs and done this too.
He actually just picked off every overseer with his Marines. So now dealing with the Widow Mines becomes even more frustrating.
Well, Major has an equal opportunity to do what we just talked about the Zerg doing, though, getting that one big attack to try and equalize the battle, but it's so, I feel like it's so much harder. Well, he always has the power of medevacs, right? So hopefully anything he does, there's a retreat path.
I mean, one of the big things too, look at the resources lost. Keep in mind, Cham is still trading technically and effectively with a lot of these trades, but what he is doing is kind of just shutting Major down out of a main army supply, force him to pick up, go back home once again. His rally should be good to hold. There's really not a lot pushing with this because the Banelings have pretty much been absorbed at this point. Stim Marines and Marauders, they don't really care about roaches. It's only the Banelings that these units fear.
Yeah. Major, just without that third command center, he's still producing a lot. 7 Marines, 2 Marauders, 2 Widow Mines.
Look at that focus fire on the
that's
Banelings.
production.
Oh, he eats a couple of face value though. Widow Mines are pretty much gone at this point. But still, once again, no overseers, no detection, and Major's got a very weak drop still standing.
Yeah, he should I think he should have abused the fact that he has these drops, instead of trying to duke it out with Widow Mines burrowed and all that. Just lift and fly everywhere. Cham has already shown that he might, he overreacts to drops sometimes. He pulls back just to deal with, 3 Marines and a medevac. Abuse that, and then get your third up.
Well, here's one of the other things we haven't really addressed. Major hasn't had to invest in new medevacs, which is nice. Cham never having made a single Mutalisk because never had anything that shoots up. So what's kind of
Pretty
insane
much.
to consider, I would actually love, because you don't need to produce medevacs at this point, maybe get some Banshees.
You know what? That is insane, but also, if he could surprise him, he would get a lot of free kills.
Well, I mean, even just to pick out the Banelings, but Major's actually going to soak a lot of those Banelings to the face. Oh, he's cutting away. There's still 2 more to go. Oh, there's so many roaches still standing. The bunker does not get up. He's going to have to pick up the medevac, and, well, he'll get away thanks to the medevac, but he's going to lose this third. At least the SCVs. He does lift this time.
That one could have almost been so good had he not already eaten those Banelings.
Yeah.
At face value, but now it's a 60 supply lead for Cham. He's not really coming off. I mean, he got the infestation pit because he did see, like, you know, a reason to go into long game. But after that attack that just changed everything, he was like, oh, I'll just continue making units.
Yo, Major's actually starting to starve out too. Main's gone. He repositioned that command center to that third. His natural base is pretty much out of mineral patches. I mean, if Cham can just contain, he'll win this game. Like, if Major can never take a third, Major will also never have the army supply to actually fight. 35 Banelings are on the way, and you know what? We're talking this big game about Roach Hydra beating Major, but turns out Cham's weird style, his crazy tactics, where he gets stuck on, like, he's got no upgrades. This is what frustrates me. Look at these Roaches. They've got only armor upgrades, the Zerglings, the Banelings. Okay, they've got level 2, but big deal. I mean, this is... I don't understand. This makes me frustrated to watch almost, even though we're seeing exactly what's going on in this game. Cham is making this work so fantastically without a lot of tech. I mean, this is brute force.
It is. I like. Oh, that could have gotten such good Baneling hits.
Yeah.
It's what, you know, Hyun showed us for a long time. I didn't think he was actually doing it that well with those first 2 attacks. I was like, okay, Major, you know, his drops everywhere.
Oh yeah,
he's
Cham.
defending, and then everything turned when the Fire Nation attacked, but. Actually, just when Cham attacked.
Oh, it's not. I want to give you like the highest of 5s for that right now. But this is a situation where this third base is just not secure. Is kind of what it just boils down to. Major has 3 mineral patches, less than 1,000 minerals back at home. He's mining off his third again. If he can use the terrain to his advantage, he's just got to kite back into the Widowmine field. Oh, but Zerglings are setting those off, not even on purpose because they just rallied in the wrong way.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna get top of the production, maybe getting to the main, and that's GG for Terran most of the time.
This is a lot of SCVs, guys. They're stacked up. Major bleeding out pretty hard here. Here comes the Banelings. Major is going to run from this, but he can't run fast enough. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Cham will take the first game in this series. You know what? I got to give it to him. He did it without Roach Hydra. I'm impressed.
I think it's almost the same thing with Roach Baneling, though. Like, the same mental, like, the same way you deal with it. So that's why maybe there's another weakness, right? Like, you're supposed to deal with it being a little more defensive than Major likes, so Major pushes out when he shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, he does the drops. You know, even against Roach Hydra, he does the drops correctly, right? He's always having really effective drops, and then that big attack happens, and that's when he starts to lose.
Well, for Cham, it's a good start to this series. For Major, it's a bump in the road. We'll see if he can overcome it. Next lobby is going to be on Merry-Go-Round, so another 3-player spawn map. And another map that is actually very favorable to things like Roach Hydra as well as Roach Baneling. Mutalisks are not exactly terrible, but that's what kind of blows my mind. Like, he did that whole game without a single Muta.
Yeah. And he might do it again, you know, whether it's Roach Baneling again or Roach Hydra. Merry-Go-Round doesn't really lend itself to mutas because of those air blockers.
Well, let's see how this one goes. So I'm just taking a big stretch. I've been up since like 3 a.m. casting. Not all day straight, but, you know, Dragon Invitational kind of drained me. So I'm really glad tonight's not going to be more than 2 best of 5s. But we are going to get 2. We already had 1, let's be honest, awesome best of 5. Watching Desra play the way he did, I know Desra fans must be celebrating because he played so well. For those who are here for Cham to support, I mean, Cham starting this off very impressive, but it's 1 game in a best of 5. This is hardly him being in a position to win just yet, but it's a good spot and it's a great start. And now we're waiting for everyone to join the lobby. Woohoo!
Yep.
By the way, how do you feel about pancakes?
I like pancakes perfectly fine.
So this morning was really weird.
What?
Someone was abusing the donation box, like by putting someone else's name They would donate $3 and just write pancakes in all caps. So like for example, it's like FG Squared donated $3 for pancakes. I'm like, woo! And then Crimson did it, then Bobble Convolute did it, and all these other people were doing it. I'm like, why are you guys all doing this? And then I noticed chat, they're like, we're not donating. We don't know what the hell's going on with this. But I think I got about $27 today, and the only message I got out of it was just pancakes in all caps.
Maybe it's that guy that wanted us to get pizza and take a picture of it, really driving his point home.
Man, we got to make up for that too. We never took the picture of the pizza at MLG. But okay, guys, countdown's begun. Merry-go-round, and we'll see you in oops, TVZ. Just a sec. Alright, welcome back to the series. Welcome back to Copa America, the best America. We are in game number 2 in this best of 5. I'm Rifkin casting tonight with Zombie Grub. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying it so far, because we got a bit of a weird start. Spawning here in the top left corner of the map from No Dice Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is the Red Zerg player Cham.
In the upper right, as the blue Terran, it is Roots Major.
Root Gaming, Root for Root, all of that. I really like the way Major plays, and I think a lot of that game wasn't bad play out of Major. It was just like better play out of Cham. Because like we saw Major constantly dropping behind this. There were situations where we thought he was going to lose hatcheries, but he didn't because Major's drops were just barely not enough. We saw Major abusing the third sort of high ground, low ground connecting to the main. I mean, he did a lot of things right, but he just got overwhelmed at the end. And that ends up, I think, falling really heavily back to Cham taking that quicker fourth. Something he's not going to be able to do on this map so easy. 3 bases, no problem, but fourth gets really awkward when you're fighting against Terran on a merry-go-round.
Yeah, I mean, your choices are as the high ground, as you pointed out. One, technically expanding towards your opponent, to the right of your main, or going really, really far away. And of course, mostly we see them take the one on the high ground, and it's so abusable by Widow Mines and the Medevacs.
Yeah. That was something too out of Major, like his, to go back on that too, his Widow Mines were not exactly getting those amazing connects. You know, people, like, you know, players, casters, Total Biscuit was very adamant about this as well. You know, Widow Mines are just such a gamble sometimes. Even with the way they've been quote-unquote buffed now, they can sometimes be amazing, and sometimes you'll see them get the Baneling hit that kills all the Banelings. You're like, wow, that's game, and just start clapping your hands. But then there's other times where you're like, okay, you know what, I've made about 30 Widow Mines this game, and I've killed like 2 Banelings with them. Come on, RNG! Like, what's going on here?
I swear, man, anytime you play Terran, nothing. Every time you play Zerg, everything blows up.
Right? You're like, how did that kill? I split. This is ridiculous. I quit. And you start flipping keyboards and tables all over the place. But Major's going to open up with a couple Reapers this time. I don't think we'll see 3, but this is not a bad map for 3. It's not a great map for 3, but it's not bad.
It's okay. When we first started the cast, like literally the first game where you like messed up the map intro screen or whatever, I was watching the end of the Red Bull qualifier. MMA's own one of mine killed like 20 of his Marines, and that was like, oh,
Dude.
It's game, but like for the wrong person.
That's what I'm saying. I put a highlight clip on YouTube. Jockshi holds off a Roach all-in, but then the Widowmine kills 8 SCVs, and he taps out. I mean, like, it's ridiculous. The Widowmine was such a good buff for Zerg. I'm just saying, like...
Actually, I think TLO once said that it's a good buff for Zerg, because it helps with the friendly fire.
Can we? I really hate that at some point in all of history, Terran decided not to invest in something like a shock absorber or something. I don't know. with friendly fire.
Yeah, maybe one day. It's like technology isn't here yet.
No, dude. We're too busy perfecting nukes. Nukes that never get used because they take forever to drop.
Oh, yo, he did go for 3 Reapers. Okay, so, well, it's not really a great map for, like, getting up into the main and dealing damage. It's okay. I mean, it has a big ramp, and of course, this is useful for when you get the Hellions with it. Adds a lot of punch.
They're really good at, I'd say especially turning down thirds, more so than even killing queens. I mean, they got queen killing potential, of course, when you get this many, but Major does have to be a little bit careful as they're getting a bit low. He took a 3rd CC pretty quickly behind this, too, so I mean, he's going to have a lot of mules to work with. His economy is going to be absolutely fine coming to the mid-game, but the question is how much he dedicates early on, because Cham is also going for that earlier Roach Warren, and if there's one thing that's really good at staving off aggression from Terran, whatever the push may be, it tends to be Roaches that hold the line.
So far, I think it's exactly as what he did last time. Didn't actually see the gas timings in either game, but like this Roach Warren is awfully early. He doesn't get a 3rd yet. That in itself, you know, it's not very economical, but it's so scary that it also throws off the Terran too. You know, like, oh my god, he doesn't have a 3rd. Like, is y'all winning me? Well, no, and then he just double expands. You know, really messes with your head.
Yeah, so I sometimes read those feedback threads where, Oh. Okay, Ling's actually just gonna duck back here. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to shout this out on stream, but I just got another $27 donation from Zealous Sam saying pancakes, but I'm not that guy. I don't know what's happening today, and I'm so scared. Like, I just feel like if I eat a pancake, I'm gonna die now. I want them so badly.
He's gonna poison every pancake you could ever possibly come in contact with.
Right?
Sorry.
It's like that guy who poisoned the muffins, but with pancakes. Keeps that Reaper alive, wow.
Yeah, everything alive with such low health. It was sick.
Well, for Major, he's doing a great job of sort of keep the queens at bay. You know, the creep spread was kind of limited, but now that the roaches are out, that's kind of done for the time being. And we don't see that fast armory, so we're not going to have the Hellbat push behind it. Once more, we don't have Banshees, something that I would love to see Major incorporate just a little bit because of the way Cham plays. Maybe he'll identify that if this goes to Game 3 or Game 4 type thing, but right now, well, he doesn't really have a lot of killing potential, quite frankly. Might be able to harass the 3rd a bit, but not by much. Actually, he's just going to go for it. You don't see this a lot. Some Terran players will be very, very reluctant to do this just because of the fact that you will lose all your Hellions for it. But if you can get enough drone kills, this makes it worthwhile. Cham panicking a little bit, does stack the workers up. Trying to build Evo chambers to block out the path of the Hellions. Kind of a cool move, but not quite done in time.
Uh-oh.
He's not killing a lot of workers, though. This is not really turning out to be worth it.
Yeah, you know,
6
Cham,
workers.
he was already down on workers, though, so it's almost effective because of that. But 11 more.
I don't know, Zombie Grub. I mean, to throw all that away for 6 drone kills? I mean, it's not like... Yeah.
Let's think about it for a second, though. Like, I don't think it's at all worth it, but it's also not as big of a deal, because usually those help out in the 11-minute medevac push, because they turn into Hellbats, because the armory finishes up with it, too, or the 12-minute one, rather. But if it's Roach Hydra, they don't actually matter. So Major probably dedicated to that because he knew it was Roaches. He was like, well, these are going to be useful anyway, so let me just try.
I guess
He's
I can see
probably
that logic.
upset.
Of course, it's a lot better if you can get more drones, but I want to give a small nod to Cham. One of the cool things he did, like, I don't know if you guys caught that, was he tried to build an evolution chamber in the mineral lines. If you've ever seen a Protoss player stop Hellions, it's usually with force fields doing just that, but an Evo chamber will get the job done too. But Medevac's finally coming out. We got 1-1 on the way. I mean, for Cham, I'd say one of the I hesitate to call this a weakness, but he did not have a lot of upgrades going to the mid game, but because of that, he's dumping all that gas into more Banelings, more Roaches. He was just overwhelmed. Maybe he can try and emulate that again here for game number 2, but he is sitting on 3 hatcheries this time, safely instead of the panic 4 he took last time. And I feel very strongly like that 4th hatchery plus the macro hatchery. Man, did that give him like a big acceleration as far as units of momentum goes. But drives Major off of this base. Oh, that sucks.
Surprise! I don't know why it is a surprise, though.
Well, I mean, he's going for the drop, or else he would have stimmed out to respond. But Roaches were left in the main to actually catch these drops. Yeah, so when the Marines come out one at a time. Yeah. I mean, look at this. He just volleys them down one at a time. Not a big deal. Roaches are pretty good if they get top of this early, but as all the units unload, Stim's going to be a little bit stronger, so he drives Cham back. Cham's actually coming home with all the Roaches. And he is going Roach Hydra, by the way, this time.
Yeah, yeah, he is. He already did such good damage with that attack, though, that pulling back really not that big of a deal. I mean, he lifted the third, he killed 8 SCVs, forced the mining off, and that drop didn't actually do a whole lot. So I'm still feeling pretty good about Cham right here. His 2-2 is also ahead of Majors, and that's exactly what you want. You want to hit a very powerful 2-2 where they're just trying to defend with hopefully tanks and bunkers. And Major is getting tanks and like he knows what to do because he's a great player, but then sometimes he'll move out and it's like you
It's
don't
like,
have
why?
2-2 and
Yeah.
you don't have 6 like I don't. So hopefully that doesn't happen here.
Well, one of the key things he is doing multiple drops on opposite sides of the field. One of the things about Roach Hydra is it's not exactly the fastest thing in the world to respond, so should probably pick these up and minimize how much he loses while he redrops in the main, but nothing left in this medevac, no other units nearby, so one drop at a time, not going to cut it. Because for Cham, he can just run around and chase it, it'll be good to respond.
Yeah. So this is the one that seems to be most effective against Major. Not the 1-1 Roach attack into this attack, but just the mostly the straight up Roach Hydra attack.
Let's talk about why this is effective too, though. I mean, it's not just like you just go Roach Hydra and auto win. Sorry as I zoom out like crazy there. I was pressing the wrong button. This map is fantastic for it because of the way you can get lots of concaves. Roaches and Hydras have a lot of DPS, but oftentimes it's not really effective and not utilized properly because you're not, these sort of chokes over here. Everywhere else on the map, though, especially with a bit of creep spread, you're just going to be able to spread out behind the Roaches. The Roaches will provide that layering for the Hydras. They'll do a ton of damage, and Blinding Clouds eventually come in and shut tanks down. I mean, there's a lot of pluses and minuses to this composition, but a lot of it's based heavily on the map. It's why you don't see players, unless you're Tefl, go Roach Hydra every game all the time.
Yeah. But this definitely is a map that caters towards it, so... Cham is getting ready to do it too. He's almost max. His 2-2 is finished. He still has a time before Major's 2-2 is, and that is absolutely perfect. It's what he's hoping to actually hit. If it does finish, still not the worst thing in the world. You can outmaneuver them, you can outposition them, you can catch them with tanks, not in the right place, stuff like that, and it's still very effective.
Dropping the main going to go unnoticed right away, so Hydra's going to try and fall back. They don't have muscular augments, I don't think. No. Not even groove spine. Wait, what? He went for Hydras without groove spines?
That seems like a mistake. Like he forgot because all the drops.
That's a
were
huge
happening.
mistake. That's not like a small mistake. That's like forgetting stim. I mean, okay, you could argue against the muscular augments because it doesn't give you benefits on creep, and if you're playing defensively, great. But to not have that +1 range, you can only shoot over the Roaches as easily.
Yeah. Yeah. Major doing a great job
Bolting it
buying
up.
this time. Oh wow, just kill the base and get out, and he will be able to get out the Hydras. They're so slow.
Yeah, they take a long time to get off that creep. Dropping the main going off now, too. And what we're seeing right now, guys, I mean, this is hardly Major auto-winning the game, but this is how you play versus Roach Hydra. They can't respond very efficiently. Even on creep, they're not as fast as Speedlings. They're not as good as Mutas as shutting down medevacs. And unless Cham invests in some static D, these drops will be a problem continuing forward in the game. But, looks like he's not worried about defending. He's getting ready to go attack. And here's that big split, that concave he's trying to set up. Tanks on the high ground are going to be really nice. He's got a lot of tanks for this, and there are no Vipers, but he just gets on top of the tanks immediately.
The 2 tanks, or the 1 tank on top is really, really great, and actually he just decimates this army. This army just melted. A lot of Roaches staying in the back, and, that... Well played.
I really think, Cham felt forced into that, but that should have been, a good composition that waited for Vipers. It just... I don't know why he felt forced into it, but either way, Major will tie up the series 1-1. And I gotta go update that score while we get into the next map. But where is this thing here? Name, score, 1. Unless all this stuff's gonna crash on me. Nope. Got it. Nailed it. What is the next map? Overgrowth. Okay, so standard.
What are you doing? Don't do that.
I always have to look at your camera to be like, is she talking to me? What's the problem? Oh, it's the cat.
He's like a baby. You ask him, what do you have? What's in your mouth? No. Spit it out. And, people think you're talking to a baby.
Stop.
And it's a freaking cat. No. Okay, when I eat Smarties, American Smarties, they come in, this wrapper, and he freaking loves plastic, so he will actually try and steal them from my hand. He will claw at me to get those things, and then he runs off and thinks it's hilarious, and then eats it, and thinks it's delicious.
What a jerk.
What a dumb cat.
I'm going to be right back real quick. So if the game starts up soon, I don't know. I should be back. BRB.
All right. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Jumps up all the time except when I want him to. It's fine. It's whatever. Well, everyone's ready and in the lobby, so I don't know what we're waiting for. Hello. No. Come on. Go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Everyone's ready. Ripken's not back. That's great. A cat wants
Okay,
to
I'm back.
cast. Hello. Yes, you want to cast, don't you?
Looks like we're about ready to go here.
Yippers. Whoa, not cool, cat. What is this? What even?
All right, Overgrowth. See you guys here in a sec. Yo, I need to address this. People are like, Rivka's really not wearing pants? No way. Yo, it's like 28 Celsius outside. It's like even worse in here because I got my computer on. I'm more worried about this thing overheating than I am about wearing pants. Like, it's way too hot in summer. But anyways, welcome back to Copa America. This is the last best of 5 of the night, guys. This is the second semifinals, and one of these two guys will fight Desro in the grand finals. But spawning here in the top right corner of the map, with the score tied up evenly 1-1 from No Dice Gaming, it'll be the blue Zerg player Cham.
In the bottom left is the red Terran. It's Root Major. Cham. That's an awfully early drone scout. Just saying.
I don't blame him though. What I was really thinking was his anticipation of Major possibly T-Rexing on this map. I actually really like the drone scout as a consequence, but I mean, one of the things, if you don't scout over here where the T-Rexes typically come down, you go straight for the base just to see whether the barracks is going down at home or not.
Yeah. I think it is certainly worthwhile versus Major. Major likes the T-Rex. It's that and playing standard macro.
Well, I mean, on Overgrowth, most Terran players just like the T-Rex, not even just Major.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, yeah. So last game, Cham's Roachhide didn't really work out. I think he was prepped and ready to do it, but then that big Zoom drop at the third really messed him up. Missed his 2-2 timing as well, so that kind of sucked too. And I think, truthfully, I think he forgot the upgrades. Because if you're not going to get the upgrades, it would be to attack like faster, sooner, or with more Hydras, and that didn't seem to happen. So it had to be a mistake. And okay, that was a gas first, and I was like, did I just imagine that? But no, it's a gas first with fast Hellions.
Yes. This is. Wait, did he go 17? He went. I thought it was gonna be 16 into. Yeah, we started tearing SCV count aside. If this is the fastest Hellions possible, it's something that might catch Cham off guard. There are players in Europe, I'll reference Tefl for example, who play really strong mid-game, late-game styles, but always find themselves weak in the early game. I don't imagine that Cham is going to be that same Zerg, but it's something that can still catch him off guard if not prepared for it. Big thing though, this Overlord, going to see this coming.
Yeah, well, that's the biggest weakness in this, and that is very easy to scout. Unless they get really lazy and they assume that the command center was built in the main and just figure, that has to be the case. That's the only way you're going to surprise someone with this. Otherwise, obviously, it's not that much of a surprise. Still, though, you have 2 to 4, no, maybe even 6 Hellions before they would typically get an Evo chamber wall. So that's a good opportunity to bust through here. And in fact, Cham getting a spine crawler.
I like the spine crawler in the form of just it'll be something you can actually attack with, but it's hardly going to stop the Hellions outright. They can just run past and go to the main. So I'm a little bit worried where these queens decide to sit. Here on the front lines so they can get a couple extra hits rather than being on the ramp where they completely block it off. There he's actually going to back one up. One queen is fat enough to block out Hellions. So Major was going to go for that dive. Can't quite squeeze in.
Well, so far not worth.
Oh, nice build cancel. Yeah. But the thing is, this wasn't like super dedication. This isn't like proxying Hellions into Reapers or something quite so weird. I mean, he just lost 2 or 1 of the 2 early Hellions, so.
Hellions into Reapers. New meta.
Well, if we got rough for somebody around, it might actually be.
Well, certainly that was it. This is actually what you would do in Wings of Liberty if you guys weren't around for that. You didn't expand first for a very long time in the beginning of Liberty.
Well, you just couldn't. It was suicidal. You'd have to put like those weird bunker placements down too. The maps really didn't lead into it.
Right, yeah. Like, first 2 years of Wings of Liberty is really, really weird. But Cham doing exactly what he did last time with this early Roach Warren, the later third, probably going to get a lair before he gets a third as well, and maybe even double expand. Last time he didn't. But, I don't know. He might still try it. Difference right now is that Major did in fact go Banshees, and I love going Banshees against people who love to go Roaches. They're just so freaking effective. They either kill the Roaches or stop them from attacking, or get drone kills. They're really good, and they get good scouting.
I think one of the big things too is we've seen countless times too where Cham's in I mean, in game 1, like all those Banelings, I feel like this could have been so easily sniped off. There was never any queens at the front line. There was never those Banshees on Catalina. So, like, had those been out, maybe those Banelings never became the problem that cost Major the game.
That's true. That is really true. I think they're absolutely fantastic.
Actually, you know what? I would love if he went as high as 3, but no more. I think that'd be the perfect count for what he's got to deal with for Cham.
If you're expecting Cham to not go mutas again, I think I agree.
Yeah.
Which Cham probably isn't. Overgrowth is actually a pretty good map for Roach Hydra, simply because the third is a little far away. You can have a 2-pronged attack that is very effective, where you can just, unless they get a sensor tower, they're not really going to know where you're attacking from. The Banshee was actually scouted, but the Spore Crawler are not ready yet.
Position in the dead space a little bit. There we go. Sadly, it's been softened up now, so the Queen can kill it if he stays in vision. But meanwhile, Hellions hoping to ramp around here. Sadly, that Spine Collar is still standing, kills one of the Hellions immediately, but it still goes for it. Major getting really aggressive, really scrappy here. They're gonna get some drone kills for this. Absolutely, 10 kills so far, not too bad. The Banshee's chipping away at the +1 weapon upgrades as well.
Whoa, this is big. Dude, yo, you can't just let it die.
Well, he's almost out of energy. This Queen, I think, could finish it off. There we go.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right. Well, he gets a second Banshee, then.
Actually, he did make the second one, right? Or did he cancel it? Yeah, he's got 2.
Okay, it's going to be too late. The Overseer is being morphed, so that should be though, without the creep. I mean, he could maybe target it down. Anyways.
Well, I kept the Banshees alive. That's what's really key. Once again, whether it's beating on Roaches or whether it's picking off Banelings, 2 Banshees are a huge deal to have. But I kind of feel like this is going to be one of those situations where, and we see this classically out of a lot of Terran players, even the best ones, where you kind of start good with them, and then you just kind of leave them while you're macroing at home, and suddenly you've lost both your Banshees. Oops.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we see there.
Yeah. He still has 1, and I think, making sure to keep one alive, even if you know you could like kill like 10 by suiciding it, is so much more worth. Like seeing the what you can see with a scout. Roach drops is gonna be pretty cool to see.
Well, this is kind of crazy because roach drops are really good versus mech. I can't say that they're the best versus bio, but if they can elevate to the main and get past bunker defense and set up at the front, then I guess it'll still be the same level of effectiveness, I guess.
Yeah, and he's still gonna go tank, so they are still gonna be out of position.
Is that bunker even gonna be in range? I don't think he can stop the CC. He's gonna have to lift this. If he lifts this, then the roaches move forward, right?
Well, he has a banshee, and he sees that more coming, so.
Yeah, he has to prepare.
Oh,
okay, here comes the tank. Major not panicking, but this CC getting way too low.
Yeah, that was a little alarming. But Major has no way to scout that these drops are coming. I mean, the hatchery wiggling, it's a queen morphing. Like, who actually predicts that it's going to be roach?
Right? Why is there no like indication that it's like the roaches get tunneling claws, they get the spikes on the back. Overlords get ventral sacs, and what? They should expand, become bloated. I don't know.
Well, they move faster. It's very obvious.
Well, no, that's the pneumatized carapace. I'm talking the ventral sacs.
Oh, yeah, the ventral sacs. Yes, sorry.
Oh, I wonder if he got Overlord speed. That guy's going pretty quick. I clocked him in at like 15 kilometers an hour there, eh?
I was like, it's pretty obvious. I don't know what you mean. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this really turns out. Like Rifkin said, it's usually used against mech players, but it can still be effective against bio. I mean, it's still effective against Protoss occasionally.
Occasionally, it's just like. Ugh.
I don't know if it does it anymore. I miss it.
Well, we got a drop heading towards the main. I don't think it's going to be too problematic here, but Cham is going full ham with this, guys. This is not a light attack.
Mother.
Oh my god, look at it. There's nothing in the main. If he drops in the main, he's going to be directly on top of the production, and Major's going to be vastly out of position to deal with this. But no, he's going to go. Oh no. Don't fly on top of the Marines. Don't go on top of the Marines.
He doesn't care where he goes. Oh, there's two drops, by the way. Or maybe a Banshee and a drop?
It's a Banshee and a drop, yeah. Production should be able to handle 11 roaches are on the way, but Major now catching wind of what's going on exactly. Oh, why unload down here? Just put them all in the main. Fight with a concave at the top of the ramp.
Terrible decision by Cham.
This was a horrible decision to unload out here. He's still going to take a decent fight, but here comes the tanks. Meanwhile, these other roaches start moving over here to the left side of the map. I mean, even if he wins this fight, this is still the least efficient way to get it done. And he's not even going to win the fight. Meanwhile, the roaches did move over here to the left side. Production coming up from Majors trying to deal with this, but
that should have been like an easy army win.
I agree. Like, okay, to explain why we're freaking out, guys. Like, had this been at the top of the ramp, then the bio would have had to funnel up into this giant concave of roaches waiting for it at the top. Even with siege tanks at the low ground, those roaches still would have won that fight. Transfusing like crazy on one roach, hilarious to watch, but inefficient to see. And this is not looking good. I kind of think this is, possibly going to be the end of Cham's game 2. Or, well, game 3, sorry.
Dude, is that Banshee still alive? Oh, the Banshee's still alive.
Yeah, killed the hatchery.
That could have been so helpful with the roaches. Oh. Oh, man. If Cham had not gone on the top with the production, this would have been completely different. And even if he... Well, actually, this micro with the tanks and the production is actually still not necessarily being really camped. Maybe?
I don't know. This is... He's lost so much at home. It's a base trade, right?
Home.
Yeah, if the Banshee comes home, he stops this outright. I mean, there's not that many roaches, and the ones that are alive are all almost dead. Major's still mining at the third, though, right? And he's still got a lot of mule energy available. I mean, this is... Okay, the production slowly cleaning this up, but...
This is really close. Oh, save the tank, save the tank! Yeah, yeah.
Pick up, Micro.
Sexiest thing ever. Now, I do believe he's sending the Marines back in the medevac, though, the drop in the main, but that Banshee could actually be the decider of whether he wins like this weird base trade or not.
I agree. It's really frustrating to look at this.
He never had combat shields either, and he's getting it now.
One of mine's going to come off cooldown here in a second, so I might be able to get a good hit off on some of these roaches that are low. Yeah, just knock a couple down.
The ones that are actually low.
Tank's still really low in the medevac, that's why he's not unloading it. But as these reinforcements come in, maybe starts looking to cut off the reinforcements here.
No!
Banshee is finally coming home, by the way. It took a little bit of time, but sooner better late than never. But this is it for Cham. Like, he has to win with this. And the thing is, this is
Cham is going to lose.
Major can just lift off. Like, that's it. Bottom line. Like, it's a stall at best because he's mining off of one base. Like, okay, pick up your production and move it over here where there's 3 bunkers and a command center. I mean, it's... All these free overlords too. Major held that really well. That was really scary, really scrappy. GG. Major.
Really weird. Never seen a TVZ like that.
No, but with a 2-1 lead, he goes to takes us to map number 4. Cham came out of this series strong. The momentum in game 1 definitely helped him. But as we go into King Sejong Station, this is a very nice Zerg map. So maybe he can turn this into that 2-2 and give us game number 5 on Nimbus. At the same time, though, Major is he's good. Major's good. So we might be able to close this out. We are going to take this time to squeeze in a small ad break, though, guys, so we'll get this lobby up. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple moments. And I'm going to BRB real fast.
I'm gonna be right back too.
That's a no. That's a no. No. That'd be weird.
Hey guys, thanks for watching those ads. Sorry that took a few moments. But we are in the lobby for King Sejong Station. And if you're just joining us on the broadcast, it is 2-1 in the favor of Major. But what's kind of scary is it's not exactly like Major's been dominating these games. I mean, that last game, I really think a lot of it came down to Cham's choice to unload preemptively. Had he not done that, perhaps that would have been a much more steady win. But whatever the case may be, Cham's gone this far. He's come to the semifinals. Worst case scenario, he falls to the 3rd and 4th place match versus Cats. Best case scenario, he takes us to game number 5. And we'll see what the case ends up being. So thanks for tuning in, guys. We're hopping to the map intros for King Sejong. I'll see you in a sec. Welcome back to Copa America. This is game number 4 in this best of 5 semifinals match. I'm Rifkin casting tonight with Zombie Gub, and welcome to the game, guys. Spawning here in the top left corner from Root Gaming. It's gonna be the Red Terran player Major, currently leading the series.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is No Dice Gaming's Cham.
Man, what happened with No Dice Gaming? They kind of like came out the door strong. They were throwing away all these crazy tournaments for like $3,000 and stuff, and then I don't know. Now it's just like a couple of players, and that's it.
Well, not to be a downer, but maybe their investor is no longer around. It seems to happen a lot, unfortunately.
It could be. Yeah, maybe they're making the viewership where they wanted it for it or something. I don't know, but regardless, Cham, whether he's got a strong backing or not from a team, he plays the game pretty darn well. As said before, getting into the game while we were outside the lobby waiting, I mean, he might be down right now, but it's not like he hasn't gone down swinging. He's had some really powerful moves, some really powerful games. Once again, comes across with that drone scout. Very much liking this move out of him. As far as scouting versus Major, because it's very critical he doesn't lose this series like a 2 racks or something, of course, but this is, I don't know, this is a really nice map for Zerg. It's hardly Zerg favored to the auto win or anything like that, but a lot of Terran players no likey this map. In fact, my heart was warmed listening to QXC cast for WCS. He's like, let me tell you, and Nathaniel's like, why do you like this map or whatever, and QXC's like, why don't I tell you the reasons I don't like this map?
You know, I think Major was the one who I predicted it, honestly. But he, you know, as King Sejong, he was up a map. And I was like, he's probably gonna Reaper proxy on this map because that's what he does, and he did. You know, just saying. But obviously here, choosing not to. He's not gonna do anything apparently weird either. Remember, last game started off with not a command center, but a fast factory.
Yeah, that was that 11 gas too. Yeah, we were like questioning, but I mean the one Hellion, right? Like it wasn't. It's hardly like stage dive worthy. I did like the Banshees getting incorporated last game. I did think that was a big swing, even though Major didn't really utilize it to its fullest potential because we were screaming like, you know, bring the Banshee back home. It was still not a bad choice. Alright, we were gonna hop up here to the main. Get some decent scouting information. Not a whole lot to see right now, but if he scouts there's no gas, then this kind of extends the stay period of the Reaper. Suddenly you can stay past that 6-minute mark. Not so scary.
Yeah, and I think Cham has been doing this every single game. I mean, just getting this Roach Warren down early, getting in the lair, and getting a third much later. It worked for him once, but all these other games not going his way. Oh, that's weird. Major actually used that cliff for both Reapers, and this is why you don't do it!
Yeah, loses that second Reaper. It takes a lot of punch out of the follow-up for this too, if like there was going to be Hellions or whatnot, but I mean, well, it's going to pretty much be guaranteed to be Hellions. I can't think of any Terran, like even the people who play the sillier version of this matchup, Lily Kinney and Ruff, Avilo, I mean, like these guys all go Hellions. There's really not a lot of builds that ignore Hellions. The third base gonna be, I guess, forcibly denied. I got 2 guns, you stay away.
I don't think he's been taking it that early anyways. Like, the rush is going to be out. Major, I guess, just wants to see if it is going to be taken at all.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to bring Star Trek into this a little bit. So you know how like the Borg like adapt to everything? So like weapons become ineffective and stuff? I feel like Reapers are the exact opposite, where they're like, hey, you know what? These guns are no good versus anything, but let's keep using them forever. In fact, let's downgrade their damage moving into Heart of the Swarm. Bug the hell out of me, these wonderfully horrible, amazing snowball units. I miss the days of old where they were just wreck late units, but I mean the Reaper nowadays is better. It's got a lot more utility, and I think that was kind of the key thing about it. It's weird to go back and look at VODs too. You see like how slow a Reaper moves without that jetpack upgrade or whatever. Oh, it's so weird.
Sorry. You know, hey, I have a question.
Oh,
Does
good, because I
Major
thought you were
ever
gonna
go
keep.
mech?
Sorry, what?
Does a Major ever mech?
I've seen him mech, but he doesn't tend to do it for tournaments. Like I've seen him do it on stream and stuff.
I didn't think so either. Of course, this would be the map where he did mech, but not going to with Stim on the way.
Cool. Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, it's
Hey,
just like,
do you think Cham ever goes Ultralisks?
does he?
I don't know, because this could be a map where you I'm sorry. I was just gonna tease you for that last bit, but I do like that there's a
Well-
fourth coming out. This was something that we touched a little bit in Game 1. You know, he was forced to double expand here. This time it's more of a greedy move, but with the roaches to defend, he can kind of get away with this.
I don't know if he was forced to expand in Game Number 1, but
On Catalina, are you kidding me? After losing the third, to like double expand as the sort of
did
alright,
he?
gotta make up for time.
he did lose the third?
It was cancelled, remember? And he had to like slap down that other one.
I didn't think it was that far gone. Well, anyways. Okay, so
Maybe I'm
this
misremembering.
is certainly this is certainly greedy though. Either way, and actually he's getting a Bailing Nest, so he might be going for just like game number 1. I mean, so far he's got the double expansions. He's going into a Bailing Nest. He's not getting a Spire. It's the game that he won. So
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was gonna bring in with this. I really like that he was able to bully Major into submission on Catalina. You know, Major was never able to take a third, much less lock down a fourth. King Sejong Station, very similar situations with bases. I mean, you see a lot of Terran players end this game on 3 or 5. You never really see it stick around that 4.
where's the oh, there it is. Okay. I was wondering about the upgrades, but the +1 carapace just being a little bit behind. The third is not going to be harassed at all. It looks like, yeah, there's just not enough roaches. But Major, will he scout this? Like, a scan of the natural, I think, is the only way you'd actually scout this composition, because a Bailing Nest plus a Roach Warren, like, that's... And plus all the roaches that you still see. But then there's, like, this newfangled, like, you know... style that a bunch of Zerg players are playing where they go roaches and they go for a 1-1 roach attack actually, but then they transition into laying Muta.
He's gotta
And
get
it's hard
outta
to tell
here.
the difference. Well, he's gonna lose him.
Yeah, so just saying he's going to fight. Not too bad. I mean, he'll take a couple Marines with him. Picks up a good chunk of the Hellions.
But yeah, so it's like always hard to tell if he's actually gonna do that. But of course, being at the game that he won, Major would probably guess he is gonna go for Roach Baneling again. And hopefully would be a little more, I think, defensive. Really, he only started to lose steam when he tried to push out and got swamped.
Well, bottom left corner of the map seemed to be under attack. This was... Why can't I wish Cham had taken the middle base? It's really extended to come this way, and there's Bailings on the way, but they're not quite here yet. Major's actually getting to top of these and focus them down before they get a chance to hatch. The unbirthing of it all.
This is very bold by Major, but it's doing wonders.
Yeah, Bailings go up on
that's
top
like-
of the Marauders. They need to connect to the Marines at the back, though.
He takes so many Bailings down with him, and oh my god, the Marines are gonna live.
Yeah, he actually... Well, you know, he takes the fight on creep, too, which is kind of crazy to consider. What are these medevacs doing? BM!
Okay, I was wondering, right? I think the medevacs were supposed to pair up with them, and they got
Misrallied or
Rallied?
something, yeah.
But even attacking that like 30 seconds sooner than you're supposed to throws off Cham. He doesn't have enough Banelings. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I like back at home too. I mean, there's 3 tanks up and running. The defense for Banelings is going to be great. I mean, he's going to have trouble one-shotting the Lings, but he'll always be able to one-shot the Banelings. So as long as Major's doing that focus fire, this will be way better than Widowmines. And we've seen just how good Widowmines can actually be.
Sometimes, yeah. Oh, it is a Spire. Okay, cool. So it's not going to be exactly like game number 1, where he went
He's-
Roach Baneling.
He's aspiring to change.
Eh. Eh. Eh.
Yeah,
okay.
like
That was alright.
2 out of 10. Yeah, it's low hanging
Yeah,
fruit.
but these mutas, they're going to be really late. They're not going to come out until 15 minutes, you know? So.
I kind of feel like he's not going to go too muta heavy though. I mean, that's just the trend of a lot of the game right now. Between Widowmines, between the Thor change, we're seeing less of those like 30 muta clumps and more like 10 to 16, strictly for the drops. So I mean, this will be good to start, but we'll see how he handles them. Because Major, did he just kill an Ursa calf? Why? So mean.
Why?
There's no need to do that.
There's not.
Anyways, rocks at the back also being broken down. 5 medevacs over here, a little bit unnecessary, but I guess it guarantees you pick up units. Consolidating these forces towards the natural.
I guess so.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, like, you can't make the argument. It's not going to matter about personal healers. You got Banelings coming to Marines. They're going to die if they connect, is the bottom line, whether Medivacs are on them or not. But actually, that joke aside, they're actually doing a great job keeping the Marines alive against these Lings. What?
Personal healer. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Now with the mutas out, these mutas might be the biggest surprise in the world for Major. I mean, so far, every single game, no mutas. He's gonna think, oh, I don't need to build any more medivacs because I'm not replenishing them, and I can totally just run around everywhere.
It's the long con. He's like, all right, I showed him 3 games with no Medivacs. Time to make it happen. Or Mutalisks, time to make it happen.
It will make sometimes it is like a big enough surprise that they try and load up after a big engagement, and you just fly in. You're like, what? No.
I don't know. Major, I think he's not really someone who's gonna fall susceptible to that. He's too good. Drop of the South does go unseen, and sadly a lot of the Banelings are being picked off. What are they doing out here in the first place off of creep? Oh, Cham just lost like seriously half his Baneling force. Down to what is barely 14. There's siege tanks here as well, guys, don't forget. Tries to run in on top of this. Tanks, well, gonna be able to pick off a lot of these before going down.
Oh, and they actually explode onto the tanks. I mean, that was actually...
This is huge.
He didn't know that it was, I think, Muta Ling Bling. He was expecting Roach Hydra or Roach Banelings again, but he had enough tanks that it actually works well. You know, that's what always happens. Like, they try and go tanks against Muta Ling Bling and they don't have enough tanks, but that worked out actually wonderfully. And he's also dropping at the 3rd, and he does still mass pick up because the Mutas have to deal with this.
Alright, drop down here does get cleaned up. I mean, Cham holds on, but this is, I mean, look at the supply right now. Like, okay, the frontal forces are down. Here comes round 2. They just weren't rallied across the map like we're so used to seeing. You know, that stream of red coming from Major's base. And what's kind of crazy is he's kept up heavily on the tanks behind this, too. Now starting to get those Widow Mines out, realizing, like, okay, it's less about roaches and more about these Banelings I got to worry about. Well played's going to be called. Major, ladies and gentlemen, will go to the finals, I think, as expected, where he's going to go fight against Desro.